Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. This video is going to be about the narcissist's stubbornness. Many narcissists can be extremely stubborn. They will not change their mind on things, they'll not change their perception on things, they'll not look at the full story, they'll not take on board your thoughts, your feelings, your opinions. They have a determination within themselves not to change their opinion, not to change their approach, only if it's via further manipulation, and not to change their stand on something, their viewpoint on something, even if there is a reasonable reason to do so. As narcissists believe they're entitled to have everything their own way. They believe they are superior to others. They are arrogant enough to believe that they are right and all others are wrong. They will change their mind in a moment if they can exploit somebody. So they will change out of their stubbornness, out of their selfishness, in order to manipulate another person. And you can have the overt narcissist who is obviously very stubborn, who is just not going to shift on anything and just more than likely going to come on you with the attacks of no, it was like this, and dig their heels in. Or you can have the covert, the passive aggressive narcissist that might just seem like they're agreeing with you. They might just seem like they're compromising with you just to let you down 6 months later, just to break those promises on you. So although they are stubborn, not all narcissists are obvious, outright, overtly stubborn. Some do it in covert, underhand, manipulative ways. Most narcissists try to do whatever they do without people recognising their envious side, their entitled side, or without people looking badly upon their entitlement. However, there is those who are grand enough to believe and often do get away with it. They rule through love or they rule through fear. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers and your continued support with the channel. This video is going to be about the narcissist's stubbornness. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw. This channel is all about the narcissist personality disorder to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with in your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact, and different methods to find what works for you to help you overcome narcissistic abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. A stubborn person, more often than not, is determined to do what she or he wants to do, with a lack of empathy to care for how their behaviour affects those around them. Things that are stubborn are things that are difficult to move, difficult to change, and difficult to deal with. Narcissists are very resistant to change because they believe they are right in what they do, and they believe that other people have failed them. Narcissists are very difficult to deal with because if your opinion, if your approach, if your perspective doesn't match theirs, they're going to circle around so many different manipulative methods to gaslight you into conforming to what they want you to do. It's not a case of stubbornness where they have their beliefs and they're willing to listen to another person yet stand true to who they are as a person and agree to disagree. They're stubborn in the fact they want to control all others around them into thinking how the narcissist wants those people to think. They're very difficult to get them to see your point of view, to move their perspectives, to shift into somebody else's shoes, to recognise how somebody else might be feeling or how their behaviour might impact another person's life in a negative way, because they are self-absorbed. They're preoccupied with their own ideal, they're preoccupied with their own reality, and they're preoccupied with getting their own needs met. The fact that a narcissist will rarely to never admit they are wrong is infuriating to those around them, to the point where it drives those around them crazy. However, because they don't believe they're wrong, they're not going to admit to any wrongdoing, as that would be admitting to themselves and the world around them that they make mistakes, and they prefer to believe that they are perfect and it's the people that make mistakes. The fact that they are so stubborn and they are so selfish can make them very difficult to work with, to talk to compromise with, to co-parent with, to rationalise with, to understand where they are coming from, let alone trying to get them to understand where you're coming from, because they don't want to understand where you're coming from. They want to rationalise it all within their own mind, that how they're behaving is okay, and then they want to gaslight you to rationalise it within your mind, so that those excuses seem extremely valid when they are invalid. If you are raised by narcissistic parents, you are often trained to accept behaviour that you should never have accepted. There is so many people in the world that accept behaviour they believe to be normal, which people shouldn't be living in those kinds of circumstances. Yet because they were raised with somebody who behaved in that way, it's easier when you meet someone else who treats you in that way to excuse their behaviour, because my mother behaved like that, my father behaved like that, my grandfather was like that. And we don't point out to people that that behaviour is wrong and it's hurtful, it's damaging, not only to those around them but also to themselves, even though they don't recognise it's damaging to themselves. And when they don't recognise that it's damaging to themselves, they don't work on themselves, they don't change themselves, and they believe that everyone around them needs to just deal with it. Having a narcissist in your life that you cannot go no contact with is a very persistent, stubborn problem that you cannot move, which is why you need to learn how to be yourself, how to create your values, how to create your beliefs, how to keep your standards high, how to say no to those who just take advantage of you, recognising that all relationships are about that give and take, 50-50. Even a work boss relationship, you go in to do the work to get paid, so that you can pay someone else, so that you can eat, so that you can have a roof over your head. Any relationship is about give and take. One person provides for another person and the other person provides back. They might provide back in different ways, however they provide for each other and go around life helping each other out. With a narcissist, they give very little and take the absolute maximum, believing they're entitled to take what they want, often draining people, manipulating people along the way. Narcissists can be very stubborn in not backing down. They can guilt trip people. They can say to people, if you loved me, you would. After all I've done for you, because they will appeal to your conscience. However, because they're stubborn, you will not be able to appeal to theirs. And it's about, yes, we should treat people how we want to be treated and how we treat other people. However, if somebody isn't going to treat us with the same courtesy and the same respect as we treat them, we need to recognise that that is who they are as a person and move away from them, so we can find more like-minded people, people who are going to have their own opinions and are going to differ, but are willing to see your point of view as you are willing to see theirs. People who are going to respect you, people who have morals, people who have loyalty to those they care for, people who can empathise with how life affects people. With a narcissist stubbornness, they can either go onto the silence or they can go into an all-out rage to get people to fawn to the narcissist behaviour out of fear, and then often end up people pleasing to try and avoid conflict, try and avoid an atmosphere. And with a narcissist, they are great at creating absolute chaos and then blaming other people for the chaos the narcissist has created. So even when you fawn to their behaviour, it will not alter who they are as a person, as their beliefs are very different to yours. So why do narcissists act stubborn? It's who they are. It's their belief system. It's their internal dialogue. It's the way they think. It's what they believe works for them as a person. They want to control, they want to win, and they want to be in control before others control them. Because of how they work, they possibly believe that other people work the same, so they want to come out on top. Because of their motives behind their behaviour, many will think that you have the same motives, even if you don't. And narcissistic behaviours and genuine people's behaviours can be very, very similar. When people are hurting by someone else's actions, they can fall silent, not to hurt the other person, but to try and find themselves, try and work out what's happening. A narcissist falls silent to hurt the other person, to gain control. So where a narcissist can rationalise that we've fallen silent due to their intentions behind their behaviour, we can rationalise that they've fallen silent due to our intentions behind our behaviour. So when they fall silent on us, we think we've hurt them in some way. We go around the houses trying to work out what we've done and trying to make it up to them, as we would like somebody who has hurt us to do to us. We wouldn't want them ruminating. We'd want them to recognise what they've done and not do it again. It's all in the intent behind the behaviour. Narcissists are preoccupied with their ideal, that dominance behind their behaviour, that power and control that they want over others, preoccupied with their own obsessive thoughts. And we can all have obsessive thoughts, it's just narcissists are usually negative and they want to pull other people down to feel better about themselves. They lack the emotional empathy to care for how their behaviour affects those around them. They want to get their own needs met, and they're going to go through any format possible in order to get their own needs met. And they do not see why their behaviour is wrong. They rationalise it within their mind and pass the blame over to you. And those who do recognise their behaviour is wrong is programmed into them. It's who they are. It's their fundamental truth. And if they do recognise that their behaviour is wrong, they're not willing to admit fault. They're not willing to admit wrongdoing. So they're just going to repeat the cycle because they don't know any different. And you can't teach them any different. That's on them. That's on who they are as a person. If they don't want to make the effort to change for themselves, they're not going to change for other people. When it comes to recovery, when you've been guilt tripped by people, when you've been duped by people, when you've been conned by people, when it comes to recovery, remember that forgiveness is for you. Forgiveness is not to forgive them, to let them do it again. Forgiveness is to recognise you might have given them one too many chances. You might have been guilt tripped into doing something you didn't really want to do. Forgiveness is forgiving yourself for not knowing any different, or not having the people around to help you out of the situation at that time, for recognising that you do understand what's happened to you now, and that you are moving on with your life, and that you are going to leave that in the past. If you can hold on to resentment, if you can hold on to bitterness, and it doesn't hold you trapped in the past, if that keeps you away from them and helps drive you forward into your future in a healthy way, then that's your way of doing it. If holding on to that resentment, if holding on to that pain keeps you lost in the past, keeps you trapped in the past, you've got to find your way of letting it go so you can move forward. There's no wrong way or right way to live your life with good intentions. There is only your way. Forgiveness is for you. Sometimes people need to have that want to seek revenge, which is often justice. They are actually after justice. But people need that want to seek revenge to give them the drive, to give them the oomph, to give them the get up and go to move forward. Other people don't. It all depends on who you are as a person, and there's nothing wrong with how you feel. It's your life. You've lived that experience. You have to do what is right for you. Letting go of any guilt that, in hindsight, if you had more knowledge, you wouldn't have done things. When something's in your past, either use it to drive you into your future, but do not let it eat into your future. It's not worth it. It's the past. It's a memory that stirs up emotions that you might need to find the right method to help with those memories, whether that's therapy, whether that's counselling, whether that's talking to somebody you know, whether that's aroma therapy, whether that's EMDR treatment, motivational videos, getting on a course, helping other people out, doing what is right for you, changing the meaning to the memory often helps changing the emotion that you have attached to that memory. No contact is always best when dealing with these kinds of people, because they are very stubborn, they are very infuriating, they know exactly what buttons to push to get you going. If you cannot go no contact, it is limited contact, grey rock. Know your worth, know your beliefs, know your values, know your boundaries, and stick to them. I do have several online courses available which are just a step-by-step guide to give you more understanding of the disorder. Thank you very much for listening. If you are looking for further help, I am currently full for one-to-one coaching. I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the description. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, to create the life that you deserve, because you do deserve to have a life filled of joy. Yes, things can come along and knock us off balance. However, you have the coping skills within you to make it through, and you can and you will find them. You can and you will recover from this. Bye.